There is a new tragic face of the cruelty at our southern border. This is Jacqueline Ame Rosemary Cal Maquin, 7 years old, from Guatemala. She died from dehydration and shock after crossing the southern border and being taken into federal custody. She was put on a bus with her father when her father told the authorities that she was sick and vomiting. She was on that bus for at least 90 minutes, and in cases of severe dehydration, every minute counts. By the time that bus reached its next stop at a border station, she was no longer breathing. The Trump administration, including the Secretary of Homeland Security, blamed the girl's father for taking her on such a hazardous trip. But everyone in the Trump administration has done everything they possibly can to make that trip more dangerous, more deadly. They destroy water supplies that are left in the desert by Samaritans who are doing what Donald Trump's Bible tells them to do. The Trump administration is illegally blocking fathers and daughters like this from seeking asylum at our border stations. And so they face the choice of hopelessly waiting near a border station for the Trump administration to suddenly decide to obey the law, or finding another more dangerous way to cross. NBC's Cal Perry has been covering the situation at the border. Today, he spoke with border Congressman, Texas Democrat Beto O'Rourke, who was visiting a migrant center in Juarez, Mexico.
DHS said as part of their statement, look, parents shouldn't be doing this.
Right.
What is your reaction to that?
You do not travel 2,000 miles with your 7-year-old child for kicks, to take advantage of another country. You do it because you're desperate. What would cause you to take your child and make that journey, unless it was the only thing you could do to save your child's life?
Joining us now from the border in El Paso, Texas, and Juarez, Mexico, is NBC News correspondent Cal Perry. Cal, what more do we know about this case?
Lawrence, we know that she died the morning after being in custody. She was being transported on a bus across New Mexico when she was taken very ill, 105-degree temperature, to the hospital. What is unclear is what officials knew and when they knew it. She died, and 3 days later we heard from the commissioner of CBP testifying on Capitol Hill. Hanging over this story, Lawrence, is an administration that has not been honest about what is happening down here at the border. The bridge behind me, up until 2 months ago, as a migrant, you could come to this bridge, you could present yourself to Customs and Border Patrol, and your asylum request would be processed. But 2 months ago, the Trump administration cut a backroom deal with the Mexican government, one that is of questionable legality. That deal was to keep migrants in Juarez at a center, Casa de Migrantes in Juarez, a center that we gained access to today. And what you see at this center are children with their moms and their dads with numbers written on their arms. Now, the U.S. government told Mexican authorities to assign numbers to these individuals. Local groups in Juarez, they made the decision, Lawrence, to write these numbers on their arms. This is called metering. This is the slow dribs and drabs of people allowed into the United States. So people are there waiting, and they're only coming across 60 people at a day. So if you don't trust the Mexican government, or you're afraid, and I was there today, Lawrence, and these children are terrified that they're going to be separated from their parents. They are never more than an arm's length away from their parents, who have told them, if I turn around and you're not there, I may never see you again. If you don't want to wait at that center, you do what Jacqueline did with her father, and you cross in a more dangerous place. That's what's happening along this border. Here in El Paso, we are seeing 2,000 people a week cross illegally. That is roughly, as it was put to me by an activist here in El Paso, that's a caravan in Tijuana every other week. What the administration is doing, and let's be very clear about this, as you stand in that migrant center and you look at those kids, the administration is taking things that would otherwise not be normal, and they're normalizing them. So children in Tornillo, at a tent city, separated from society, talking to their lawyers only 20 minutes a week, has become normal. Babies with numbers on their arms in a center in Juarez has become normal. The message that runs consistently through all of this, as we show these pictures around the world, is that America is closed, Lawrence.
Cal Perry, thank you for your invaluable reporting again tonight from the border. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Cal. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on the button below for more from The Last Word and the rest of MSNBC.